Hello everyone, this is Travis with Lansing Motorsports and Lansing Auto Mart. You can find us online at lansingautomart.org. Today I'm going to do a quick start video to show you how to operate these machines. These are both Massimo T Boss 550s. The one with the black bed there is the 550F, which has the bigger steel bed. The one over here is the 550 Tech Package, which has the forward rock crawling camera, backup camera, and the LCD screen. You don't get the cameras or the screen on the F model, but you do get that bigger steel convertible bed. The tailgate and sides come off that one to make it a flat bed also. Most important thing on this machine is you're going to want to turn the key on and wait for the gauges to cycle. It is fuel injected. That gives the fuel pump enough time to initialize. It'll actually let you start it in any gear, but you do need to have your foot pushed on the brake. Crank it up. What I like to do is let these run for about 20 or 30 seconds before I take off in them. Especially when it's cold, that's going to give the idle enough time to drop a little lower. When the idle is up here higher, it's going to be harder to move this gear shift. You just give a little bit of time to warm up. It'll be much easier to move this gear shift. You've got reverse, neutral, high, and low. Reverse is all the way at the top. It's going to beep at you. Neutral. High is what I would recommend driving it in majority of the time. It's going to show I'm in high gear right here. Low gear is going to be, it says right here on the sticker, under 7 miles an hour for an extended period of time. Pulling something heavy or going up a steep grade. The rest of the time I'd recommend high gear. Down here you've got a winch in and out switch. This is a rear locking differential headlight switch. Over here is the 4x4 switch. All of those switches on the 4x4 or locking rear differential, it'll show up here what you're in, but you do not want to access these while you are rolling. That'll damage the transmission. You push this, it'll show we switched to 4-wheel. And then if you slide this over, you can actually push that button also and lock the front differential. I recommend driving this in 2-wheel drive a majority of the time. 4-wheel drive, front locking differential, or rear locking differential, those are just gonna get you out of a situation if you're stuck, but it's gonna steer the easiest and drive the best in 2-wheel drive. That'll show we're back in 2-wheel. I'm gonna shut the unit off real quick and show you where everything is on the machine. You've obviously got the doors here. Inside of here, door handle, that's where you pull it to open it up. The seat here lifts up. It just pops up on both sides, and then you can actually just move the seat out of the way. Your air filter is right inside of that box. On the driver's side, you've got a little bit of storage. Passenger side, you've got your fuel tank, fuel pump, fuel filter. I'm gonna go over to the passenger side here to show you where the dipstick is to check the oil or to add oil. It is kind of hard to see. It's under that shift linkage right there. So I'm gonna stick my hand under and put my finger on it. It's this tan cap right here. So again, this is passenger side right under there. That's where you're gonna check your oil, add oil. And when you change the oil, this is your oil filter. Again, I'm on the passenger side, kind of by the passenger side tire. There is your oil filter. Drain plug is right underneath there. There's a cutout for it, so this one's actually fairly easy to change the oil on. The dump bed on either the steel F bed or the sport bed, on either side there's going to be a handle. Push it down, don't pull it. If you push it down, it's got a gas shock that assists it. That will show you the back half of the engine there. Got a nice little dump bed on the sport package, tech package. There's a nice little tailgate on it. The F model, like I said, bigger bed, steel bed. Tailgate will come down and you can actually lower the sides or remove the sides entirely and make it a flatbed if you wanted to. It's still hooked up, so it's just kind of sitting there, but you can see how those would just come right off if you disconnected that cable there, and then it'd be a flatbed. We really like these machines. We've sold quite a few of them. Biggest thing is, like I said, just turn the key to the on position and wait for the gauges to cycle before you start it, and let it run for about 30 seconds before you put it in gear. That's going to give you the best operation. These do come fully loaded, so they're going to come with the roof, the new upgraded windshield, which I'll show you, the side doors, front winch, turn signals, brake lights. All that stuff comes standard. You can also add a snowplow since they are winch operated. I'll show you on this unit here, the windshield. This is their newer design. You can lift this once, put it in here. That's gonna let a little bit of airflow through. I'll go ahead and lift this up with my other hand here. You can also disconnect it, pop it all the way open, so when it's hot in the summertime, it'll give you all the airflow. The old style windshield that they had would open a couple of positions and just let airflow through, but it didn't have that these gas shocks here and that steel bar to allow the windshield to open all the way. Couple of other things I wanted to show you guys. I went ahead and took the hood off of this unit. If you don't take the hood off, you can go to the passenger side, and that white container there is your overflow for your antifreeze. That's gonna be your reservoir, in other words. On the driver's side, you can also see the brake fluid reservoir. So both of those you can access without taking off the hood. It's easier if you take off the hood. This is the top right there of the antifreeze reservoir. That's obviously your radiator, so you could check the actual radiator fluid there. Your battery, obviously. Fuse block is in there. I'm gonna say, take this off at your own risk, but if you unplug this, this is the backup alarm. So that's what beeps at you when you're in reverse. Most of our customers leave it on there, and they put it on there for safety. So just be careful. Obviously, look behind you. We don't want any accidents, anybody backing over anybody. So I would recommend leaving it plugged in, but I know customers have definitely unplugged them before. That is the backup alarm. To put this hood back on, it actually just has hooks in the hood that slide into each of these. So put it on, slide it on, and then there's 2 screws. Phillips head, that's all you need is a Phillips screwdriver. Take those 2 Phillips screws out. So this is the hood here. Those are the Phillips screws that go in the back. First you slide the front and make sure those hooks grab those slots. And it's really easy to take that hood on and off if you needed to get to the battery or anything like that. This again is the tech package, which will have the screen that's going to give you some more gauge information. The F-bed, the gauge cluster is just this one here. The tech package, you can actually select the cameras, so you can see your backup camera. If you put it in reverse, it'll automatically go to backup camera. Click forward, be your front rock crawling camera, show what's in front of you. You always just touch this screen to get this to come up. Click the UTV to go back to the gauge cluster. You can add maps to this if you wanted to do GPS. If you wanted to install speakers, you could run Bluetooth. That's your cameras, notifications, and settings. It is going to show a little bit more information than just the gauge cluster does here, which this will show most of what you need. It shows whether or not you're in 4-wheel drive, if you're in neutral or in gear or in reverse, fuel gauge, RPMs. It's got your neutral light. Here it's going to show, again, fuel gauge, speedometer, RPMs. It is going to show a little battery gauge. It'll also show that you're just in 2-wheel drive. It gives you a percentage on the fuel, so when you're running lower, it might be a little bit more accurate than just the bars there. Let's go take this one for a quick test drive. Again, you've got reverses up here. It'll beep at you. Neutral, high. Low is down there, but again, I wouldn't suggest using that unless you're pulling something heavy, going up a steep grade, or going really low speed. The rest of the time, you'll want to drive it in high gear, 2-wheel drive. Again, do not access 4-wheel drive or the locking differentials unless you are stopped or you risk the chance of damaging the transmission. Make sure your parking gauge is up. That's disengaged. This would be engaged. Make sure that's disengaged. We'll go for a quick test drive. shut it off. These machines have a top speed of 45 miles an hour. That's going to be after they're broken in. They do seem to get a little bit quicker and easier to steer as they loosen up and get broken in just a little bit. You really want to vary your throttle during the break-in period. You don't want to run it at sustained idle, and you really don't want to run it at high speeds. You want to follow that 20-hour break-in period as it's outlined in your owner's manual, and change the oil at the 20-hour break-in mark. Again, you can find us at lansingautomart.org. You can also see us on Facebook at facebook.com/LansingAutomart. You can call us at 913-727-3665. Thank you and have a great day.